Real Sarney here, back for another episode of Real Sarney. Today, I'm going to do things a little different, kind of change it up a bit, right? So, typically, most of my videos cover basic training, right? I haven't really done anything past it. So, we're going to jump around a little bit. Today, we're going to do something life after basic. What living on post is like. Pros and cons of living off post versus living on post, right? Me personally, I live in Hawaii, Schofield Barracks. I live on, okay? And I have a list of pros and a list of cons that may or may not interest you and sway your mind one way or the other. Okay, so there's lots of pros. There's lots of cons. Okay? Personally, a lot of the pros are you don't have to worry about actually paying monthly rent, if that makes sense. You get your BA8, it goes directly back to the housing people on post. So you don't even see it. You don't even notice that it's gone. You don't even notice that you got it. The con side of that, though, is if you live off post, you get that money. And a lot of times you get paid more than what your monthly rent is. So BAH in Hawaii, for me, is I think $3,600 a month. I don't see a penny of that after they take the money out of my account. I don't even know it's in there. I don't even know it's gone. If you were to go off post, you could find a house or an apartment for like $2,200. So you're able to pocket, a good grand plus or minus. And then you have everything is close. On post, I live literally a minute and a half from my work. If I hop in my car, I can run to work, and it's maybe a mile to work. That's with traffic. If you live off post, getting on post is kind of chaotic, especially in the bigger bases like Fort Hood or hell, even here in Hawaii. It takes 30, 40 minutes just to get through the dang gate sometimes because they check IDs at the gate, which is a con living off post. Anytime you come on and off base, they're checking your ID. So if you got a kid that goes on post or lives go to school on post, you got to check that ID every single time, and it takes a lot of times in the morning. It'll take you 30, 40 minutes just to get to the gate because traffic's backed up. On Schofield, if you got kids that go to Wheeler, which is on the Wheeler Air Force Base on the other side of the road, you have to go off post, cross the road, and go on post. So sometimes that takes a long time just to leave base to get back on. And then you got to come back to base and do it all over again with the ID. So that's kind of a hassle. I would say that's a con living on base because the school isn't on base. But there are other schools in Hawaii or on Schofield Barracks. It's just where your kids get zoned, etc. Gas prices on post are 90% of the time lower than what you would see off post. When I lived in Italy, as long as your car was registered, you could get coupons to get whatever the economy gas price, which or not economy, the states, back in the states, whatever their gas prices, their average. Let's say gas prices in America, like your average gas price is like $2.40 a gallon, but your local gas prices are $4.30, which is what it is in Hawaii. You could get a coupon in Italy to pay the local gas prices or the stateside gas price. In Hawaii, you can't do that. In Hawaii, you pay whatever it is at the pump. So on post is cheaper, usually about 15, 20 cents cheaper. That's what I've seen on average, depending on where you're at in Hawaii, too. But it's pretty wild. Compared to the States, though, it's significantly more, where you're paying $2.40. Here, you're paying probably $2 more a gallon of gas. Same thing for milk, a lot of the groceries, because they all get imported. So everything is more in Hawaii. And what I found is you don't pay taxes, okay, on post when you purchase them at the PX or the commissary. The PX is where you buy all of your everything but food, okay? Your groceries. Your groceries you would buy at the commissary, and that is also tax free. That's a perk to buying everything on post. However, a lot of the times the prices there are generally a little higher than they would be off post, so it kind of offsets itself. And what I've noticed, at least in Hawaii, is you go off post to Walmart, you can actually buy things cheaper after tax. So it's kind of crazy. Um, so, so pros and cons. Again, I've never lived off post my whole 13 plus years in the military. I've always lived on post. Um, Never really had a need to. The schools on post generally are better than the ones that are off post in that town. Okay, and they're free. Off post, a lot of times you pay for. Sometimes you'll pay for public schools. You don't pay a dime to send your kid to school on post. And the DoD schools, they're honestly, I've had kids in from kindergarten all the way up to junior high, are are way better. They're just way better than going off post into the town and going to school there. Like when I was at Fort Hood, the Killeen School District, not the greatest. When I was at Fort Benning, Columbus area school district, not the greatest. Okay, Hawaii School District off post, not so good. Okay, you have to pay, you got to pay to go to those better schools, but you also got to travel to those schools. Whereas you live on post, you get these DoD schools. That I feel like the standard of school is just a lot higher, and the kids learn better. So, do a lot of free events on post that a lot of times is closed off to the public. For example, holidays. A lot of the holidays they'll do concerts, like in the summertime, 4th of July. Just this last year, Plain White Tees came. I've seen all kinds of bands, and that is only to military personnel with a DoD ID. The public pools on post are also free. You don't have to pay to go to those, and those are closed off to only military ID holders. So it's cleaner, it's safer. Essentially, leads me to my next topic. Living on post is basically like living in a gated community with your own police. I wouldn't say it's crime free. I wouldn't say it's crime free at all, because soldiers are psychos at times, and they get a little wild on the weekends. And I mean, I'm sure you've heard all the stories about like Fort Hood and all the other crazy stuff that happens everywhere else. But posts aren't crime free. However, you can't just carry a gun around post anywhere you want. Whereas off post, in most of the states, you are allowed to carry. Most people have guns off post, stuff like that. If you get caught with your own personal weapon on post, you can get in a lot of trouble. So on post is generally safe. Now, with that being said, you also get driving. Driving's kind of crazy. You get a lot of accidents on post because you get a lot of these dumb privates that aren't paying attention, these dumb specialists that aren't paying attention, and they smacking into people. It happens, but it happens off post too. So pros and cons, right? Pros and cons. Another thing, in the morning when you're trying to take your kids to school, at least in Hawaii, they don't really they block off one road, but for some reason nobody wants to stay on that road when they run, and they want to go run on the main road where all the traffic is. And when people are running on that road, it holds up traffic for the people that are already in traffic going to and from school, and it's chaos. Morning PT time is chaos, especially during the school year, right? Um, Increased security, good schools. Okay, here's a con for you. At any given time, you're going to go to a gate, and it's just going to randomly be closed when you thought, hey, I thought this gate was supposed to be open today. But that's going to make you have to turn around all the way around post, which is another 20 minutes, just to go out a gate that's open. So that's kind of a pain. It happens in Hawaii all the time. There'll be a gates open during the day, and then randomly it'll just be closed. And then they'll put a message out later, hey, this gate's closed because of this. Like, oh, cool. I wish you would have said that when I got stuck at the freaking gate. I had to spend 20 minutes backtracking, was late. I'm trying to remember everything. That's really, I mean, my personal opinion, I'm biased. I've always lived on post, like I said, and I will remain on post because I have no desire to drive, you know, to and from work. I like to just get home. But a lot of people, they like that long drive to decompress. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of my drill buddies when I was at Fort Benning, they would drive 30, 40 minutes to their house, and they use that time to kind of wind down from the day because, work, our job's intense at times. So it takes a lot of I don't know the word, time to, I guess, come off the high of yelling at somebody. Um, my personal opinion, though, if you're a new soldier coming in and you're a married soldier, live on post. Yeah, that first duty station, you're going to be getting hit with all these silly details. You're going to be having to come up into work 5:30, usually sometimes earlier in the morning. It's just easier to get to and from work early, especially when you get stuck in traffic. And then you're a new private. Now everyone thinks you're a dirtbag. You can't get away with things when you're brand new to the unit, right? But when you're like a staff sergeant, you have a little more leeway, you have a little more money. And as a private, you don't make a lot of money. You're gonna get the BAH, but you still got to pay utilities. You got to pay all your other bills. So it's just easier. Whenever I was a drill sergeant and people would ask me, the soldiers would ask me what I preferred, I would always say, "Hey, man, your first duty station, take your first year and live on post. At the end of that year, you can break your lease because your lease is up, and then you can move off post. But take that first year and live on post because it's convenient and you're not used to the Army lifestyle yet. You can say you are, but I promise you, you're not. Take that time, get adjusted, and then if you feel like you can afford to live off post because you already bought your Dodge Charger with 30% APR, $35,000, you can still afford to live off post, then go ahead. But trust me, it's going to put you in a financial bind if you just jump right the gun. Hey, I want to live off post. I have one kid, I can afford it. You're going to be surprised. It's going to catch up to you, and you're going to find yourself struggling, and you're going to end up living on post anyway. Um, on that note, if you guys have any other suggestions about pros and cons, please drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think, what you prefer. Okay, I like to hear other people's perspectives. A lot of people like to live off post, and they've never lived on post. A lot of people like the privacy of going way the heck away where no one's a soldier, and I get that because when you live on post, everyone around you is a soldier, and a lot of people are nosy, and the housing offices are sometimes super strict, and they'll leave you stupid notes when you have a bike out for too long, or you leave your Christmas lights up a day past Christmas, stuff like that. Make sure you like the video, comment below what you think. If you have any suggestions, please also drop them in the comments. And for you Spotify listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any other suggestions for another video, please drop a comment below. Let me know. All right. On that one, I'm going to get out of here. Just starting out.